I hope I set up my microphone right. Can you hear me? I hope so. Hello. And good time zone. And what is up, gamers? Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome to what may be a slightly different camera angle from my regular camera angle because I've been able to adjust it slightly differently. So hopefully you'll be able to see things good. It's not going to look any different to you, I don't think. But I know. Anyways, hi. Welcome in, friends. Hope you're having a good one. Turnip, thank you very much for the lurk. And hello, everybody. Hope you're having good Mondays. I'm having a Monday. I tell you what, here's what happened. So I finished the art piece that we were working on previously off stream because, as I predicted, there was like 20 minutes of it left to do. Oh, wow. Okay, this is very different. Jeez. Okay, I didn't realize that this much of this much of the mat is actually being cut off over on that side now. Okay. Well, I guess at least, I think, hopefully you'll be able to see. If I place my painting very carefully when I'm in landscape mode, you'll be able to see all of it. But the paint isn't going to be sitting right here anyway, so, like, it's fine, it's fine. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, oh god, what was I saying? My train of thought is completely just... It has left the station, and it is on its way to the next stop along the line, which is, if memory serves, Radley. We'll then be calling at Cullum, Appleford, and Didcot Parkway, where you can change for London or points towards the west of England and Wales. Anywho, hello. What the hell was I saying before we started? Oh, yeah, so, as I predicted, I only had about 20 minutes of work left on last week's painting, so I did that off stream. It's in the other room, and I don't want to have to get up and leave already, so if you want to see what it looks like, I can show you, because I think I've got a photo of it on my phone, and I can show you the photo that's on my phone. It looks like... It looks like that, which if you saw any of the progress that we made on the painting, you could probably guess that this is what it looks like. Please note, I did give them little flowers in their... Wait, I can zoom it in. I gave them little flowers on, like, their buttonholes, so he's got a little, like, sprig of lavender, and he's got a little red rose, which I thought was cute. My mom will ask sometimes, like, oh, what have you been working on? Did you do any artwork this week that I can see? And I sent her this, and she's like, oh, what a cute little bookshop. Oh, and a gay couple. Surprise! I'm so predictable. Okay, anyways. Oh, bless her. Anywho, so yeah, I finished that off stream. It'll get posted on socials and Discord. Let me pop a link to the Discord in the chat for anyone who doesn't have it. There you go. Just in case. Chatbot. Is Chatbot being oh, for crying out loud. Chatbot's being broken again? What the nuts? It says it's connected. Okay, while I futz with this in the background, let me just tell you about how my weekend went artwork-wise, because it did. Namely, I think I'm having a bit of a not art block exactly, but sort of, I don't know. My brain is in an interesting place. I had some wide feelings that, to be honest, I can't really say where they're coming from or what they are. And when I say I can't say, it's not because, like, it's, like, super personal or anything like that. It's legit just because I don't know. Like, I have no idea where this came on from. But to that end, I was trying to think of something that I could paint, and the only things that I could think of that I wanted to paint were, like, putting my blorbows in situations, and I'm like, people are not going to want to keep seeing my blorbows in situations. So, I need to think of something else. And I was like, well, you know, I want to do, okay, the chatbot's up and running. Okay, fantastic. Let me pop another link to the Discord in the chat in case anybody wants to join. It is there. It's a nice place. We have fun there. It's pretty chill. We are very, very supportive of each other, and I love seeing the things that people want to share. And sometimes I share dumb stuff as well. Anyways, my stuff is dumb. Everyone else's stuff is cool, just for clarity. I'm allowed to self-deprecate, but I will not deprecate anyone else, because that's mean and I love you all. But yes. So... Oh no, my train of thought is running away from me again. No. Yeah. So... Having some art block, and really the only thing that I could think of that I wanted to paint. Okay, two things that I could think of that I wanted to paint. Neither of which really feel like things that I want to do on stream at the moment. One was just like putting my blorbos into situations, because I don't know, it's what I like to, when I'm feeling some kind of like weird way and I'm kind of having some odd mood at the moment, I just want to see my blorbos having a really soft, nice time. And I realize that my blorbos at the moment are incredibly niche, and I don't want to continuously subject you to that. So, you know, do something that's a little bit more appealing to people who aren't specifically currently hyperfixated on like a series of books by this one British author from the sort of early to mid 20th century that are very silly and kind of gay. Anyways, that and I really want to like properly do some portraiture of a beloved member of my family who was my nephew dog, who we sadly lost about a month ago, and I'm still having a lot of big feelings about that because, you know, I love him very much. And he was a very, 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 very incredibly good boy. And so I want to do something special to remember, but that's like, there's so much pressure associated with that because it's so special that like, I have to do a good job. That I'm putting off doing it because I'm just stressing myself out. Which, you know, I mean, he was an anxious little mouse of a boy, but I'm sure he wouldn't want me to feel stressed about like a painting because he would probably look at it, kind of sniff it, and realize it's not a snack, and just, you know, trot away. But or maybe try to chew on it. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah. So that's kind of where my head's been at, like, inspiration-wise, and I'm like, none of this is really streamable. But then I was also like, I really want to do I've got a shop update coming up. I've got a bunch of things that I'm working on behind the scenes in Photoshop, trying to get the pieces moving in the right way and things formatted correctly so that I could get them made into new stuff for the shop this month. So there's a link to my shop in the chat as well. So that's coming up. And I thought, well, what about some new bookmarks? Because I haven't done any bookmarks for sort of a springtimey kind of theme. And as you can see, I don't know whether or not you can see, you can't see the pencil lines very well on stream, I don't think, because they're quite faint. And I did pencil this one in particularly quite faintly because I want it to be a fairly sketchy sort of watercolor. And I'm probably just going to do quite a bit of sort of improvisation with it. But what I wanted to do is sort of a landscape of like a lavender field situation with a little bee. Hello. Hello, Simple Rhino. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. Thank you, thank you. And Joe, hello. Welcome in. You're here just in time for bee. We do indeed have a bee in this landscape. So there are these two massive lavender bushes. Actually, no, there's this one massive lavender bush because they took out one of them in the churchyard that is on the path of one of my regular walks around my neighborhood. There's this beautiful, huge lavender bush, and for a large portion of the nice weather time of year, it is full of bees who absolutely love the lavender flowers, and it's so delightful just to kind of hang out, enjoy the fragrance of, you know, fresh lavender, and just watch the bees at work. It is so nice, and it makes me feel happy. So I wanted to do something kind of to that effect, but make it a bit more of a landscape and not just outside of a fairly boring looking 19th/20th century I don't know when it was built. It looks like a church. Shrug. Anyways, Simple Rhino says, love the traditional take on PNG tubing. Oh, thank you. This is actually a rare, this little creature here is actually a fairly rare appearance, because I was feeling some kind of way in the last couple of days, and I feel like this captures my mood a little bit more than our usual friend. But our usual friend is actually there they are. This is also me. Most of the time I'm a pirate. Also in glorious watercolor. But yeah, today we are just a fairly nocturnal creature of the forest. Anyways, it's lovely to see you. Welcome on in, and thank you very much. So yeah, doing some bee and some lavender, and hopefully it will look good and not like a load of old rubbish, but we'll see. And if we turn into landscape here, the other piece that I ended up doing, because I really wanted to do, I've painted her before, but I really wanted to paint a Nessie. I haven't painted a Nessie in a few months, and I had a hankering, and I was like, what if I did a little Nessie bookmark? I think that'd be nice. I've never met her. She's like, I would say Nessie is like the one celebrity that I would genuinely really like to meet. Like it would be very special to me to meet Nessie. Whereas, you know, if I just see like, oh, it's that, you know, if I was just like on the tube and like, I don't know, like someone off of the TV was there, I'd be like, okay. I mean, that's happened on numerous occasions, because London is a tiny city with a population of 4 people apparently, and there are like 6 actors in the UK, but still. The number of times, the weird number of times in my life that I have walked past Michael Portillo specifically, as far as people off the like it is statistically weird the number of times I have walked past Michael Portillo in various locales. I don't know why. Anyways, of all like the famous person encounters that I could not care less about, I have walked past Michael Portillo at least 3 times that I know of. He just exists everywhere apparently. Anyways. Rhino says, whoa, I love the watercolor style, the mood switches. Oh, thank you. Right, so, this piece, I wanted to primarily, I don't normally, like, mix up my palettes this much. Usually I just pick a palette and stick to it, because I feel like these colors were put together, these colors will go together, or I blended this set of pigments knowing that these colors should work together, and for the most part they do. But for this one, I wanted to use some of our pastel shades set, but I don't want to just use the pastel shade set, because I want to be able to get a little bit more depth and a little bit more of a range of values, and these ones really go, this is about as dark as it gets, and that's really pale, and I feel like for this I would like to get a little bit of depth into it. So I've got two fun tools for that. I have ignore these 2 because we're not using them today, but I have my many shades of moon glow, which I blended up back at the end of last year. And I don't know where my swatches have gone for that. So I'm just going to be guesstimating. I should probably have like a spare sheet of paper I can just swatch that onto. I should have one. I should have something somewhere I can use. And then in addition to that, I've also got, just to sort of, just to desaturate some of these colors a little bit, because I'd like it to be a little sort of muted and soft and kind of like a foggy, like a misty morning situation. And for that, I've got our fancy little weapon here, which is the most excitingly named color of all the colors that I own. It's neutral tint. I bought this one tube of neutral tint for some very specific reason, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. So, I'm just going to use it today. But in order to use it today, I feel like I should swatch the neutral tint. So actually, you know, I'm just going to take a sheet of this nice paper in A7, because I've got loads of these. Sometimes, in fact, it was one of these that I painted our PNG friend today on an A7 sized sheet. I like doing them for teeny tiny portraits. I think it's fun. So I'm going to use one of these, and I'm just going to swatch this doodad of paint. I do prefer working from dry pans rather than wet watercolors, but like, you know, we'll cope. It's fine. I just really want to see if this color does what I want it to do. I never knew it went smaller than A5, says Simple Rhino. Oh boy. I work almost exclusively in A6 unless I'm working in A7 when I want to do something that's just a tittle teensy sort of little portrait or something like that. I find A5 way too big. I don't know why. I just prefer working on a smaller scale. I don't know what that says about me as an artist. Skill issue maybe, shrug. But there we are. Okay. Actually, gonna use this beautiful pointed wash creature for doing some things with this paint. And I'm going to very carefully, I hate opening these tubes because if they're really tight, sometimes the paint wants to just goosh out. Oh boy, it is just gushing out of this. No, it's gushing. No, stop. Because if I let there be just like a big bead of it on the top of the tube, then it's going to make a mess when I close it. And if I make a mess when I close it, then it's going to be harder to... If I make a mess when I close it, then all of the paint is going to sort of dry around the... And I can hear it doing it. It's going to dry around the... what are they called? The threads of the twisty bit. And when it dries around the threads of the twisty bit, then it gets harder to open. Then you have to kind of try not to like grip or squeeze the tube when you're reopening it. Otherwise more of the paint will goosh out. And because it's a metal tube and not like a plastic squeezy tube, once you've squished it, you can't unsquish that and get things back in the tube. So this is way more paint. I'm going to need maybe like a 1/10 of this much paint. And I can't put that back. And that makes me feel stressed. I hate it here. I will never be one of those people who's just like, yeah, I prefer tubes. I'm like, no, no, I can't do it. But let's just make a nice, sizable swatch with quite a lot of this paint. Which is, you know, it's gray. We know that. It's just gray. But I do think it's quite a pretty gray. And hopefully it's a gray that will do what we want it to do. For our other colors. And I mean, neutral tint as a paint really kind of exists as... Obviously, you can just use it on its own, but it also, the name implies it's kind of intended to work as something of a modifier. So, like, you add it to other paints to kind of, to neutralize them down a little bit, to give them a little, slightly more muted effect. To if you want to make, if your colors are too vivid and you want them to be a little bit more sort of grayed out, a little bit more neutral, I guess. But as grays go, there is like dimension to it, and I think in itself it is a really pretty, really interesting color. And so to that end, I thought it would be fun to play with. You draw portraits on A7, says Rhino? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's fun. I genuinely, I have attempted to work on larger canvases, and I'm always like, no, 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 no. The line weight is all wrong, and I can't get it to look right, and I don't like it, and the space is too large, and my hands don't know what to do with that much room. Ugh. I'm not good at larger canvas sizes. I much prefer to work in smaller spaces. Which, you know, is sometimes to my detriment as an artist, because I did once have, I contacted a gallery, a cafe that had a gallery space, and I was like, hey, I see you're looking for artists to exhibit in your space. I would love to do that. And they were like, oh, that's really cool. But we tend to find that bigger pieces work better physically in our space. And then and I wrote back and I was like, I mean, I can conceivably make bigger pieces or, like, you know, blow things up and make them big. And I never heard back from them. So I think that was just their nice way of saying we think your art is bad. I can't verify this at all, but I think they were maybe just being polite. Which, you know, screw you, buddy. Anywho. Okay. So that's neutral tint. It looks pretty gray, but I still do think it's an interesting gray. Anyways. Can't blame the cafe for not wanting 7,000 A7 sheets glued to the wall. I mean, come on. I can't even make details on A4, says Rhino. I mean, different strokes, you know. I think that's not unusual. I think a lot of people, unless you're like a miniaturist, prefer a larger canvas space. Certainly most of the artists that I know are working on much larger dimensions than I do, but never heard someone complain about tubes so passionately. Yeah. I have preferences, that's all. I know that you can get sort of more vivid colors more easily out of tubes, but yeah, I don't know. I don't prefer to let it bother me. So I do not. I'm just pop a little, I'm just gonna pop a little sketch next to this of, I think, just gonna do just a stupid little cottage. I'm just gonna pop a stupid little cottage over here because what the heck. We've got some space, so I can pop in a stupid little cottage. Why not? Doesn't need to be good. And it probably won't be. That's fine. Just making some shapes and having fun. And then we will get back to what we're actually meant to be doing right now. This would probably look better if I was using a smaller brush, but again, Couple little windows on the sides. And then, do I want to just, yeah, actually, you know what I do. I'm just going to pop some foliage over here, like so. And then we're going to pop some foliage around the corner over there, like that. We're going to do a little pathway leading from the house. I'll fill it in. Do I want a nice little, yeah, what the hey. Little plume coming up from the old chimney. Delightful. Rhino says, I took a few months off from art because of finals, and now it's the last week of exams. I'm getting back into the art mentality. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Love that for you. I haven't done art since Saturday, I think. But then I do art twice a week for stream, and usually some art off stream as well, if I'm able to. But because I'm technically a professional artist, believe it or not. Based on this, you probably don't. But I hope it's going well for you, and I hope you're having fun. Okay, Can I pop some little window framey details onto here? I sure can. There we go. I don't know why I'm laboring over this for so long. I just kind of wanted to get a representative piece out using this color because I had some space on my little swatchy do. Doot. Okay. Actually, shall we pop some flowers in the window box? Why not? That looks really... That's the most ominous looking bed of flowers I've ever seen. Oops. That one's not really any better, but never mind. Okay. Alright. We're getting there. It's turning into... I don't know what it's turning into, but it's turning into something. There we go. Okay. And do I want to add anything to the building itself? Maybe just some little suggestion that it's kind of been made from some kind of wood. I don't know what kind of wood, but it's been painted over in a nice light color to make it feel nice and light and airy. Love that for them. Who lives here? I don't know. Maybe just a couple little rats. I was thinking the other day, I've got those Victorian lesbian hamsters that I've done a few paintings of, and I was like, what if I just did what if I just had some, like, I don't know, Regency gay rats as well? I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be nice. I'd like that. Gonna pop just this is just a suggestion of grass. Getting a little bit more tittle and wee as we get further away from the viewer. But there's not too much distance happening here. Okay. Alright. Cool. We have tested out neutral tint, and now we have just a nice little warm-up doodle of a house. A very loose little house. Because I've got actual projects that we should be working on, so I didn't want to labor on this for too long, but there you go. Ta-da! Anyways, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. Delightful. Ooh. Okay. I don't know what I expected from this tea. This tea is called Star of the Show, and the things I noticed most about it is quite a lot of ginger, and I'm getting mostly ginger, but also that it had licorice in it, and sound off in the chat if you are also not a licorice enjoyer. Actually, just tell me in the chat, do you like licorice? Are you a licorice enjoyer? I'm not a licorice enjoyer, and I'm very pleased to report that I do not taste it in here. Thank a goodness for that. Anyways, so yeah. I don't do warm-ups on stream very often, but sometimes it's nice to do just a little no pressure, like just dog crap sketch. But that's what this is, and I still think that this is a less interesting gray as it dries down, but I still think it's a nice, slightly interesting gray. There's like, I don't know, I feel like it's not just fully like there's no color to this. There's a little bit of color. So I love that for me. Anyways. Okay. Let me look at what some of the actual colors I want to use are. Alright. I want most of this piece to not be, like, overly colorful. Like, it does not need to be overly colorful, which I don't know if that sounds like. It's gonna have a lot of colors in it, but I don't want it to be, like, super bright and in your face. I want it to be a little bit sort of a misty morning kind of vibe, if I can nail that, and I guess we'll find out whether or not I can. So I'm going to use this set of colors with the aid of our gray and probably some of these moon glows for funsies, which are really fun. Actually, you know what? Okay, hold up. I'm gonna take this little sort of like, here are some things I needed to... Ooh, there's a tiny diagram that I made a gazillion years ago about the measurements that I need for an 18th century shirt, because I was trying to figure out what configuration to put them onto the, thing. The fabric, so that I could maximize fabric usage and minimize waste. I ended up translating this tiny set of squares into a spreadsheet, by the way, because I'm not crazy. Or maybe I am. I don't know. Anyway, let me just swatch out the moon glows for you so you can see what those look like. So I can remember which one's which as well. So when I created these colors, I started out being very careful and very deliberate about the ratio of color of each color that I was adding to it. Quite a nice cup of tea in it, says Rhino. Yes. It's honestly pretty decent. Yeah, being very, very specific and very deliberate about how much of each color was going into them. And then by the end of it, I think the color that I liked the most was the one where I was like, and just kind of kept adding things to it until it was just like all of the colors that I attempted to use sort of mashed into one. That one ended up being my favorite, unhelpfully. So, oh no. Never mind. It was another one of those cases of really, really sort of a bit of a trial by fire of learning which colors, which pigments are more saturated than others, and being kind of surprised by which colors are very much not as saturated as the others. Like, there's Viridian in all of these. Can you see it? No. Is it making a demonstrable difference in some of them? Like, not really. But I promise it's there. But this set of colors minus this one, which is just like 6 colors all blended together, are all a blend of French ultramarine, and oh, what was it? I think, was it magenta? No, it was like quinacridone violet, maybe? It was a quinacridone and kind of on sort of the purplish red side. And Viridian, which just got eaten by the other 2 colors every single gosh dang time. I think like this color here, which is probably the greenest of all of them, is like 90% Viridian and it still looks purple. It's amazing. But, you know, can I get this a little bit more pigmented? This is more just for me than anything. To kind of help my brain see what the heck is going on with these. Okay. So this is what I'm going to be working with for this this little landscapey scene with my mostly pastel-y watercolors, but we'll see how we get on. Which is an interesting set. This is the pastel shade set from Dermot. And yeah, it's a fun time. Okay, I'm going to put my neutral tint to one. Actually, I'm just going to pop it in that little box. I'm going to take another sip of my tea because I can. Num num num. Okay. Anyways, what was the other thing that I was thinking about earlier? Oh, this is not. See, I keep thinking about things that I want to talk with people about, and that's usually what I end up talking about on stream. But I was thinking earlier about financial literacy, which doesn't feel like a cozy topic to me. Because, like, it's not really, but I was thinking about financial literacy earlier. Specifically because I'd seen a post on Blue Sky that was like, you cannot financial literacy yourself out of being poor, and I wholeheartedly agree. Like, you know, the advice of, like, set aside 20% of your, or what was it? No, set aside 10% of your paycheck each month to put into savings to kind of, you know, to you know, build wealth over time is a laudable goal, and it's fantastic. But if, like, your entire paycheck is going to, like, rent and sort of basic food and you have nothing left, it's kind of, you know, Like, you can know that and still not be able to do it just because, you know, you're barely scraping enough money together to, like, pay the bills, right? But also, when you are on such a tiny amount of money, it does kind of feel like, what is the end goal of my saving? You know, by setting aside 10% of my, like, I have a regular job besides this, and between the combined sort of monies that I make from doing artwork and doing my regular job, I am able to set aside like a small portion of my paycheck each month, and that goes into savings. But that savings is growing at such a slow rate compared to everything else in the universe that I'm fully aware of the fact that, like, I genuinely don't know what I'm saving for at this point. I just out of curiosity earlier today, I went to like and for the record, I'm 40 years old, okay? I went to a bank website's like mortgage calculator, plugged in how much money I have in savings and sort of the average house price in my area, and you know, sort of like, okay, if I want to, like, a 25-year mortgage, I don't, like, I'm 40, are they gonna give me a 25-year mortgage? I don't freaking know. Because the presupposition up until this point is usually if you're buying your first house, you're probably younger than I am, right? Financial literacy is very important. Oh, I completely agree. And I think genuinely most poor people are financially literate. It's just that a lot of the like, here's how to build wealth and retire and stuff of advice doesn't really apply when you genuinely don't have the means with which to do anything with that knowledge, because you don't have any money. But you know, like, looking at how much money I have saved versus, you know, like, and unsurprisingly, I got a little message when I tapped in calculate, and they're like, we're sorry, we can't help you with that. Try lowering your standards and find a property that includes the amount of money that we would be able to loan to you for your mortgage. And it was so much less than like a normal house price in the area where I live. And it's like, okay, well, why not move further afield? That's fantastic. But the problem is that places that are further afield are not places where we will be able to find jobs because there aren't any. When I first moved to this country, I moved to somewhere where the rent was a lot less expensive than I'm paying now. I mean, that was also over 10 years ago, so like the rent's probably gone up quite a bit there as well. Nevertheless, the rent was less. And it's the trade-off was I wasn't able to find meaningful work there. Like, there were not jobs. I was eventually able to find a job that was well beneath my sort of level of, like, experience and expertise at that point, and was extremely part-time. The amount of money I made in a month in that job did not cover my entire rent. I had to call out sick one day and they fired me. So, yeah, it was great. It's like telling a homeless person to just buy a house. Yeah, exactly. It's this idea that, like, for instance, oh, you know, just maybe cut back on, like, luxuries and stuff. And it's like, I can tell you right now that the money I save on not buying any takeaways in the space of a year is not going to make a lick of difference when it comes to putting a down payment on a house. Like, if I just decided to, okay, I want to buy a house, so I'm going to save money by not getting a takeaway every month. At this point in, you know, sort of my partners in my life, we get a takeaway like once a month maybe, which costs about £30, okay? I could choose not to get a takeaway every month and save £360 a year. Right, great, fantastic. How many years would I need to not have takeaways for at this current amount in order to save enough money to put a down payment on a not particularly great house in an insalubrious neighborhood that is too far from where I have a job to be able to commute to and from? It's decades. So you can see why giving advice like maybe cut down on luxuries, like don't order takeaway, it's like, is kind of pointless when the amount that you're able to save is so minuscule that there doesn't really seem to be a point of it. Obviously, like, buying a house isn't the only reason that somebody might want to save money. Personally, I'm also aware of the fact that there may come a day when I am not able to work as much as I am. There may come a day when, I don't know, now it's unlikely for me because of where I work, but you know, if for some reason my place of work was legit, like, we no longer have it in the budget to have this very essential job that only you in the entire institution are doing, we have to get rid of it. So fare thee well and good luck. At this point, with my savings, which will not go towards being able to put a down payment on the house because it is nowhere near enough, I would be able to float on by for less than a year with, like, the current rent that I'm paying and associated other bills. I could squeeze out a few more months from it if I decided to just, you know, live incredibly frugally. But it would be difficult. It would be very difficult. And that is many years worth of savings. I would be able to be unemployed for, like, a little over a year if I had to. So I guess that's what I'm saving for. The eventuality that at some point I may not have a job. And that's it. Which is really depressing. Yay! So anyways, that's what I was thinking about today. Let's paint a cute little cozy landscape with some bees. Cause, yeah. Rhino says current society makes you choose between passion and comfort. Yeah, and honestly, sometimes you don't even have that choice. Sometimes it's just like, well, do this or die, or there's nothing for you to do, and you can't afford to move somewhere else where, you know, it's like there are no jobs where you live where you can just about afford to live. You can move somewhere where there are jobs on the off chance that you find a job there. But guess what? Your money goes significantly less far because everything is more expensive there. Like, where I live now is the only place where I was actually able to find, like, a job really. But talks about the most depressing subject for 10 minutes. Now back to bees. Yeah. So anyways, that was on my mind. I just needed to get it out of me. Sometimes, you know, when you just have a thought that's just, like, gnawing at you for a while, and you're like, I need to get it out. So there we go. Not sure how I feel about this tea. Anyway. So I'm gonna try starting on this little landscape-y do. And I'm going to start with my pastel-y hues because I want to get just some, like, background colors and shapes and kind of rough in. I've done a very rough sketch of what I want to be on it and what sort of things and where. And I think I'm going to start with kind of an attempt at a sky color. I'm mixing together... I'm actually mixing together this turquoise and artichoke to make a sort of bluish green for the sky, and hoping that will look all right. These pastel watercolors are weird. I will just say that they are weird. I like them, but they're definitely weird. Anyways, but they do layer pretty well, actually. The manufacturer describes them as gouache-like, and I think there is a little bit of that in as much as they are in the way that they're kind of layerable. How do I feel about this? Yeah, I feel like that's decent. I feel like that's a decent start for a sky. Let me just kind of fade it down. Anyways, yeah, sorry about the tangent there. That was a little not the most joyous of topics. The great thing about having done really sketchy pencil lines in here is that I just straight up cannot see. Do you want this to be a little grayer, or is that too gray for here? I might save the gray for other areas, but anyways, we've got a little bit of sky happening, so that's fun. And now I want to start adding. So these fields are full of lavender bushes, so I think I want kind of maybe a sort of lavendery base. I do have a lavender color here. So what I might do is going I'm going to try and create sort of a pleasant backdrop of lavender, and then add in some other colors here and there to kind of or should I do like a sort of a slightly more greenish base and then do sort of the little pockets of lavender. Ooh, tough question. Do you do realism? No, absolutely not. I am not a fan of doing that. It's not my style. It's not my vibe. I like looking at other people doing it, and I see no purpose in doing it for myself because it doesn't bring me joy. So there you go. Yeah, I think I want maybe some more of this. Mostly artichoke. I think mostly artichoke. I'm gonna start with mostly artichoke and then start popping some lavender on top of it. I think that'll work better. I honestly don't know. Maybe a little bit of you, a little bit of you. I'm just dropping some colors onto my palette now, and then I'll see how I feel about them. Ooh, what are you, cornflower? Maybe some cornflower, because lavender can sometimes veer towards the bluish, actually. Actual lavender flowers are often not as, depending on the variety of lavender, are not as like super insanely purple as they're often kind of depicted as being. They're kind of almost sometimes like grayish. I have another green color here, but I'm ignoring it for now because it's quite bright, and I want to just start with a sort of gentle backdrop. And then we'll kind of see how we got on. Screw it. I'm just going to paint over the lavender bushes, and then we'll figure it out as we go. Just kind of blend it out. I like just kind of improvising a little bit with these sometimes. I think it's fun. It's nice. Feels good. And then we've got a happy little bee, so you know, good times. There are some very loud birds outside my window right now. I don't know if you can hear them on the mic, but I love it. That's so much fun. Okay. Going to now be very careful not to paint over the bee, because what I really want is to use a lot of sort of cooler blues, greens, purples here. And then we will, and then obviously the bee is going to be sort of like a pop of bright yellow and black. So we're really gonna make the bee stand out nicely, I hope, is the aim for this piece. Okay. I don't really need to blend this out that much, but it was bothering me because there was a bit too much of a seam there, and it was going to bother me if I didn't just blend it down. I mean, this I'm going to paint over a lot of this anyways, because there's sort of some little hills and trees and what have you in the background here that I would probably be doing something else with, some sky up there, which I probably will just leave as that color because I think it works. But yeah, so we've got sort of some vague backdroppy colors. I can't see the pencil lines at all now, which is so much fun. Because it means that I'm just gonna have to once again guess as to where where I'd placed sort of my lavender bushes in the booth. No! But you know, that's fun. That's fine. They were meant to be like guidelines, which is entirely fine, um, and I'm cool with it. Rhinus says Twitch can be really unfair sometimes. Like traditional artists, like you don't get the recognition for their art, but some gacha kid PNG or whatever doing the most weird art gets 300 plus viewers. No hate to them. Oh, 100% no hate. I think art is a hard category to begin with on Twitch, and like I'm fine with that, but also I'm very aware that there's a vast variety of artists on Twitch doing different things and different types of streams, and some people are maybe more engaging than others. Some people maybe don't go on rants about financial literacy. But this is, I don't know, we're having a very quiet day today. It's not usually this quiet over here, I gotta say. But hopefully my stream rate is okay. Is it frame ratey for anybody? Do let me know if it's frame ratey. I think my internet is fine. But I'm actually going to take a super quick break in just a second. So we'll come back to this in a moment, and hopefully by the time we are finished with the BRB, this will have dried down enough that I can start layering onto it. I can, at the very least, I can see that this area is nice and dry, so I can add some little trees and shrubs and stuff in the hills off in the distance, which I'm very excited to do. That doesn't sound like something that should be exciting. But the one thing that I will say before I break about the art stream community on Twitter is that it is genuinely such a supportive space. Like, in general, the people I've met here are all very sort of uplifting of each other and very supportive of, like, you know, sort of sharing our work and working together and just generally being good buddies. So yeah, I'm happy to be part of it. Anyways, I'm going to BRB for a minute, so have a drink, have a stretch, do all that jazz. You may see some ads, but you're not going to miss anything. The BRB screen is here, the BRB song is incoming, and I shall BRB. Okay, I'm back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. And, hello. Once again, it's bee time. I think this bee is going to have a nice time in this landscape, and I hope that you do too. I'm liking the sort of dreaminess of the colors so far, actually. I thought I was going to need to add more gray to it, but to be honest, I kind of haven't. Which is surprise, but, you know, like a pleasant surprise. Like, it's a surprise that I'm quite fine with. Anyways, I'm realizing that I didn't let one of my social media know that we're live today, so I'm just making that post right now. I regularly forget to let social medias know when I'm live. Oops. Never mind. Oh wow, this post is turning out... Why is this post so janky and broken? I don't know. The link isn't linking to anything. Do I need to actually make it into a link? Ah, shoot. Hold up. Bear with for a second. Oh no. Anyways, but yeah, how's everyone's weekend been? How was your weekend? I hope it was good. What did I do this weekend? I did go out on that date that I said I was going to go out on, Friday, which was delightful. It was with my moderator/spouse, of course, and we had a really nice time together. We always have a really nice time together, because we are in love. We've been married for 10 years and just over 1 month. And that's nice. Okay, unfinished watercolor of A. But yeah, we went to a pub that's local to us that has these two absolutely adorable, like busts of dogs that were sort of on a shelf right next to our table, which was so nice. So that was pleasant to experience. I don't know what their names are, but they're clearly very good boys. I can show you a photo if you want to see, because they're very, very cute to hold up. Get a load of these very good boys. Look at them. Bless. Very fancy lads. I think my moderator slash spouse named this one Rex because he's clearly the king, and this guy, I don't know, he's real dapper though. He's got a little bow tie, so he's a very dapper little guy. And there was actually a literal, actual, like, I was gonna say a human dog, but like a living dog, that some other pub guests had brought with them to the pub, and it was they were seated quite close to us, so we got to watch the dog just sort of chilling out and wanting to wanting to like stand up at the bar, which was very cute. He thinks he's people, or possibly just he wants treats. And this was the kind of pub where like dogs are welcome, in as much as you can get fancy dog treats from the pub to give to your doggy. Hello there, gentlemen, says Rhino. I'm sure if they could speak human speak, they would say hello right back at you. Okay, I want a fairly muted, if I take a little bit of this artichoke and add a little bit of gray to it to create sort of a nice, fairly faint sort of hillock in the background here. Hopefully this is dry enough for me to be kind of working on it. We'll see. But I want this to this shouldn't be too bold at this point, because we want it to kind of continue to sort of just recede back there. Okay. All right. We've got a little hillock. Yay. And now I have to decide what I want to do next. And, you know, if there's one thing about me, it's the indecision. Can I just carve this out? Because I'm realizing I'd put a little lavender bush there. And I want to make sure that it kind of comes up in front of the hill here. So, to that end, I'm going to make a second blob of my lavender next to my first blob of my lavender. Because this one is a slightly more backgroundy lavender, and I want to add a little gray to it. So it feels a little bit more like it's a little further away from us. There we go. Okay, wizard. Man, oh man, I genuinely can't, I can barely see where my pencils might have been. So I'm just going to make some educated guesses about some little lavender clouds, some little lavender pillows. And see how we get on with that. I might add a little definition to them later, because that one's looking real messy. Oh well, whatever. Just gonna carry on and keep on keeping on. See how we get on. Add a little more lavender to you. I feel like lavender is one of the paint colors from this that I've used the most of, because I once did a quite comprehensive piece that I ended up scrapping because I just didn't like it at all, of what are they, oh damn it, what are they called? The wisteria, like a wisteria garden. And I ended up not really liking the way that I thought about going about sort of the shaping of the wisteria and stuff. It didn't end up looking that good to me at the end, so I decided to just like scrap it, and that was the end of that. Never mind. But you know, it was worth giving a go. Because sometimes in my experience anyways with painty things, you know, you just gotta fluff around and find out. And sometimes what you find out is that, oh, I don't actually like the way that this looks. Oh no. And having to do something different, which is fine. So it goes. And so that's what ended up happening with that. I don't think I ended up actually posting that to socials anywhere, the like wisteria garden piece, because I decided that I just really didn't like it at all. So I was like, nip. I'm just gonna file that away under I have learned that I don't like drawing flowers in that way, and we're gonna try something else next time. And so next time we tried something else, and wouldn't you know it, it was probably better, whatever it was. Sometimes it be like that. Okay. And this bee, of course, is hanging out on a lavender bush as well, which is our loudest lavender, because it's right in front of us. Okay. Alrighty. Yay, we're getting somewhere. It still looks like, you know, unattractive blobos, but hey. It's nowhere near finished at this point. We've got a lot of details and a lot of colors to add to it. So as we go, I hope it will start to get more good, more interesting, more fun, all that jazz. First thing I think I want to do is maybe take my smaller brush, my little brushy here, and I want to pop like just a couple of little teeny tiny trees in the hills off in the distance. Maybe even I feel like maybe not, like I was gonna do like one tree, but I feel like I can do a couple more trees than just like the one. But for that, I think I'm gonna pick up some more of my gray and some of my artichoke. And that is so gray that I think I might actually go ahead and pick up some mint. Just so we feel like there's foliage happening up there, you know. Okay. Alright, and now I want to add in some happy little ghost trees up here. See how we get on with those. What flavor of ghost? Ooh, actually, oh, you know what? I'm feeling like springtime aesthetic, that kind of thing. What if? Okay, just hold up. Wait a minute. What if I had some... What if I took a little bit of my orchid pink... If I gray out a little bit of orchid pink and we say that the trees are flowering, would that be cute? I feel like that would be cute. Still keep it reasonably subtle, I think, because it is a distance from us in view, but I think that could be really cute. I think that could be very, very cute. Okay, so just gonna create some tree shapes. Just some little tree shapes. Maybe just a smaller one over here to be their friend. There we go. We've got some little tree shapes off in the distance. And then we clean our brushy. And then I go in with this sort of weird grayish green concoction that I put together here. Make sure that my brush isn't too wet because, oh god, my brush is way too wet. And am I out of tissue? I'm out of tissue. Beans. Okay, this is fine. Nothing's insurmountable. Okay. Just very carefully pop some so light it's invisible. I need more paint. Lightly visible branches and stuff up in there. Okay. Wizard. There's a couple of trees happening here. I think that are just kind of a cluster of them. There we go. Yeah, just little like cherry blossoms or something. Hello, Dan. Welcome in. Hello, Sammy. I hear you can start painting now. Oh, fantastic. I definitely didn't do anything at all before you got here. You have missed absolutely nothing. Don't you worry. Hello, Dan. How's it going? It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. Hoi, hoi, hoi. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Okay. We've got some happy little trees in the distance. I'm happy with that. I think they're cute. I hope you think they're cute too. And I'm waiting for some of these lavender hillocks to simmer down a little bit. But anyways, yeah, I hope you're having a good one, Dan. It's lovely to see you as always. Welcome on in. Hello, hello. I'm just gonna reshape this a smidgen. Maybe pull it out this way and over that way. There we go. Okay, wizard. Yay. Awesome sauce. But, yes. Hope that you are having a good one. You've only been live 80 minutes. It's 50-50 whether you started. I did. Look, we've got colors. It looks janky and bad, but sometimes I wonder if I should be painting things that are a little bit less trust the process on stream. Because it's like, it's gonna look kind of not amazing for a while while I'm working on it. Oh no. But, you know, sometimes I just gotta follow my heart, and sometimes I'm having art block, and I'm like, I'm just gonna work on some little possible, bookmark designs, which is why it is this weird shape. Anyways, I'm gonna take a sip of my second cup of tea, because of course I made 2 cups of tea. This one's mint. Believe it or not, none of them have caffeine in them. Though I did have a cup of coffee earlier. Maybe I haven't had enough caffeine. Maybe that's why I can never focus on stream. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, we're doing a little bee scene. The bee wishes to be seen. There is the bee. I was wondering why you were only doing half a painting. Yeah, we've got another. If I turn it this way, you can see we've got a little sketch of Nessie saying hello here. This was very much like, I've got art block and I don't know what to paint this week, and all of the things that I wanted to paint were things that I feel like I probably shouldn't be painting on stream. Like, I just really want to put my blorbos into situations. I'm just gonna put out there, in case anyone's like, wow, what is this, that my art does look nominally better when it's done sometimes, like, I promise. Here's now I'm trying to find a painting that I like that I can share with y'all. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like one's skills are regressing. Is my painting getting worse? I don't know. Here's a painting that I did a while back of a couple of magpies. This is an Australian magpie and a European magpie who are meeting and becoming friends. Because I thought, hey, what if magpie and magpie could be buddies? That would make me happy. Anyways. So yeah, that's what I'm up to today. 2 for joy, says Dan. Exactly. Does anybody else, when they see a magpie, always say hello, Mr. Magpie? I always say hello, Mr. Magpie, when I see a magpie, because heck it, I love magpies so much. They are very dear to my stupid little heart, and I get real happy when I see them. One of each species for 2 times the sorrow. You know, here's what I feel about the 1 for sorrow of the magpie rhyme, is that the sorrow is that you only got to see 1 magpie. So surely it is 2 for joy, because you got the joy of seeing 2 magpies. That's how I interpret it anyways. That's normal of me. I don't know. I'm not magpie superstitious anyways. I just say hello every time I see a magpie, because I love magpies, because I think they're so gosh dang cute. I just think they're the cutest, and they make me real happy. Anywho. Okay, so I want to fill in some stuff, some gubbins, some bits and bobs, this, that, and the other, in various not that brush, this brush, very specifically this brush. This is the brush I like to use for super tiny little details these days. And I think I would like to, annoyingly, this is no longer dry. which annoys me because I want to start adding
Attention.
some
Twitch user Sammy Kelch.
Shoppers.
Never mind, we're going to say hi to the raid. Hello, raiders. Hello, Margot. How is your raid? What'd you get up to today? It is lovely to see you, and welcome on in. Let me get a shout out for Margot in the chat here. How was your stream, Margot? What were you up to today? It is lovely to see you, and welcome. API error! Ah, dang it. I did have to reset my chatbot earlier, so it's being a little bit broken, but I do have an alternate means of shouting you out, so I shall. If you're not following Margot, you can go do that right now. You should do it. Do it. Anyways, hello. Hello, Raven. Hope you're having a lovely, lovely day. Thank you again so much for the raid, Margot. I hope you're having a lovely day as well. You coded your own chatbot? No. It's ready-made. It just occasionally breaks. And so I had to reset it earlier today because it had, like, logged me out. Anyways, what were you up to today? How was your stream? Did you do anything cool? As always, if you have any, like, creative stuff that you'd like to share, if you were working on something today, or you've got, like, a social that you would like us to maybe check out, you can whisper a link in my direction, and I would be very, very happy to share with the class. But we are also art tax optional if you just want to raid and run. That's also cool. It's all good. But welcome in, everybody. Hello. To introduce myself, my name is Twitch user Sammy Kelch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and most Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays. And this week we're doing a game stream on Thursday because I haven't done one in a while and I feel like it. Specifically, we're playing the Moomin game because there's DLC that I haven't played yet. And I had one person ask on my YouTube VOD channel whether or not I was going to do the DLC. And that is enough to persuade me that it's worth doing. I was great, says Margot. Chill stream, I was drawing. Awesome sauce. As I say, if there is anything that you wanted to share, you can pop a link in my whispers, and I would love to share it with the class. But no pressure, obviously. If anyone is wondering what my work looks like when it's fully painted, I can find a representative example probably somewhere in my Instagram. Oh, let's look at this. Back when my art looked good. Here's a piece that we did a little while ago. Raven, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. This is a piece we did last year of Terry, our very good friend, the Forg Mage, in his magic library, just reading some books and having generally a pretty lovely time. Yeah, I draw a lot of bookshelves for some reason. I don't know why. Thank you for the exclamation mark egg, Dan. Did you know that a sunfish can release up to 300 million eggs when it spawns? That's a lot of eggs. Anyways, now you know. Thank you, Raven. I appreciate that. So that is one example of what my artwork looks like when it's done. And yes, we are working on some bookmark designs today, which is why this is only taking up half the page because it needs to be a bookmark-sized piece. Therefore, the other side of the page is eventually going to be Nessie, because I felt like doing some kind of cryptid stuff. And I did see some apparently very exciting Nessie news in the last few days. It was being reported that there's been very promising Nessie sightings this month. The first sightings of this year that were apparently very, very exciting indeed. Now, I didn't see any photos from these sightings, so I don't really know exactly what they entailed. But supposedly there were some photos and footage. I have seen some very interesting photos and footage, but yes. Raven wants to know, do you know a streamer named Carolyn? You sound a lot like her. I do not. I don't. If you have a username, I'd love to check them out, but also I don't know how I would feel listening to someone who sounds exactly like me. Then again, I might not hear it cuz yeah, anyways. Dan says, is it a sighting if you don't see it? Well, someone saw it. It just wasn't me. Weirdly enough, I wasn't up at Loch Ness this month because I live in, southern England. I would love to go visit Loch Ness. Carolyn Design. Oh, the username is familiar. The username is so familiar. Maybe I do know them. Ah, shoot. I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna go creep on one of Carolyn's VODs after stream and see whether or not somehow you can speak even louder and longer without breathing than her. It's the ADHD. It's the H part of the ADHD, I think. Anyways, sorry about that. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. But thank you for the heads up, Raven. I will go check out. I will go creep on one of Carolyn's VODs and be like, huh, is it me but better? Anywho, thank you, Raven. That's very sweet. Sammy hasn't breathed since 2023. Honestly, the state of my lungs at the end of last year, kind of felt like it. Anyways, that's why I no longer eat wheat, because it turns out it was trying to kill me. Anyways. I need to start adding some additional, like, accoutrements and doodads and interest to these lavender fields. So I'm trying to figure out how best to do that. And do I want to add some additional sort of, like, grasses and stuff and things and flowers and whatnot? And I think I maybe do, but I need to figure out how to do it. So yeah, Thinky thoughts. Where is the little bit of paper that I had my swatches painted out for? This swatches painted out for another set of paints. So I'm working primarily with the pastel shade set for anyone who's just come in that look like this. But I am also supplementing with a little bit of neutral tint, which we swatched out here and just did a little terrible warm-up sketch of a cottage. And I'm also working with my many shades of moon glow, which is a whole bunch of paints that I mixed together at the end of last year for funsies. Because it turns out I really love doing bad paint science. And when I say bad paint science, I mean the paint science is bad. But, you know, I'm trying my best. Anywhoosins. Yes. But I digress. Okay, I need to figure... Oh, no, did I get a bunch of paint all over the paintbrush? Yes, I did. I'm just going to get rid of that with my fingy because I don't have any tissues because I need to bring some tissues into the room. Shoot, heck, beans. I used up all of my paint blotting tissues, which is a problem. Tissue is a very useful tool when you are a painterer of things. One of the things I really like using tissue for in actual, like, painting is sometimes when I do clouds, I like doing really, like, stylized clouds and just making sort of, like, cloud shapes across the sky. Either, like, I mask them out into, like, little shapes, or I just make the entire sky, like, a whole bunch of weird sort of bouncy clouds. But then sometimes I like a more naturalistic cloud look, and honestly, one of the best ways to do a naturalistic cloud look is to paint in your sky sort of nice and quite moistened, pardon the word, canvas, and then take a bit of tissue and just blot out the bits where you want there to be clouds, and just take the paint back off of it, and you get a really nice sort of organic looking cloud look. And if you're trying to create a nice sort of like horizon situation, if you kind of size your clouds so that they kind of get bigger towards the top, you can get a really nice sense of like depth to it as well. So that's a fun thing that I like to do sometimes. But yes, okay. All right, I'm going to... What paint should I pick up to combine? I'm going to take some of this. And then I'm going to add some of, I think, no. Maybe this one. Maybe this one. Which is one of my moon glows. Which will hopefully just make a slightly deeper color that I can kind of use to start getting some like depth and detail into here. And this is a scary bit of the painting because I don't want to wreck it. I don't want to wreck my painting because right now it doesn't look very good. Right now it just looks like a bunch of sort of blobbits. But then there's always the fear that if I add to it, it will look worse. So I'm like putting that off. But I should probably start adding in some other bits of this little garden and giving it some texture. I'm going to start with just some little grassy gubbins. How do I feel about that? Do I like it? Do I not like it? I don't know if I like it, but you know, if I just keep going, maybe it'll start to look better. Whom's to see? Put some little grassy gubbins in front of here. Thus. We can have kind of a patch of this grassy gubbins at the back here, and then maybe do something different as we move towards the front. Get some interesting variations going on, other things, what have you. I think just a nice little bit of texture. Anyways, how's everybody doing? How are you? How have your weekends been? How are you? I hope you're doing well. I am doing okay. Having a nice time with my grassy gubbins, to be honest. Just seeing whether or not, do I like this texture? I don't know. This might not end up being anything. Because as I said, I was having a little bit of the oldie art block this weekend, and I was like, what do I want to do? I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. And so I ended up doing this. Because I was not sure what I wanted to do. I think maybe before I do any more grassy gubbins, maybe what I should do is to do some more, actually get some detail onto the lavender bushes. I could try doing that. So I'm gonna get just a slightly more defined lavender color. And just get the idea that there's actually little sort of stalks and things inside the lavender bushes. They're not just amorphous blobs with nothing going on in there, but they've actually got some little details, some little dimension to them. Happy little lavenders. And I'm just taking the hello and welcome to Hooded Rabbit. Welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you and welcome. Thank you so much for the follow. I hope you are having a lovely, fantabulous Monday. I've honestly been quite looking forward to working on this piece. Is it a good piece? I don't know yet. It's a trust the process piece, I feel like. Our last piece was a bit of a trust the process as well, but sometimes it's what you gotta do. And that's what gets, pleasant results. Rabbit says, I'm good, thanks. How are you? Yeah, I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Having a Monday, having some tea as I paint and thinking about lavender and bees. And specifically that one little churchyard on my sort of regular weekly walk through my neighborhood that has this big lavender bush that when it's in season is just full of bees, and it's so nice. It's so nice to see all of the bees like just diligently sort of dooting away at work there. It's so cute. And I always stop and just sort of admire them for that. Ooh, actually, I did take a really good photo of them that I got developed the other week, if you want to see. Hold on. I'm going to show y'all because I'm really happy with the way that this photo turned out. Hold up. Hold up. Where are they? Okay. This is from last year. This is from last year, which tells you exactly how long it took me to finish shooting this roll of film. I don't really shoot a lot on film lately because I don't really do anything with my film photographs anymore. And maybe I should because, honestly, I think some of them are pretty good. But let me find you this one. Oh, hang on. First of all, importantly, here is the one tube station that has signs that are diamond shaped instead of the roundel It's Moorgate. And no trains go from the platform that have this Moorgate sign on it. So like someone who works at the station came over and was like, is everything okay? Do you know what platform you need to be on? And I was like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm just like a train nerd and I wanted to take a picture of the sign. And he's like, oh yeah, it's cool. And then we just nerded out about the sign. So that was nice. But also I was scared that I was going to get in trouble. For like being somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. But nowhere did it say you weren't allowed to go on that platform. It's just that like trains don't go from it. Anyways. But yeah, that was terrifying. Here's a picture of Chalk Farm Station, by the way, just in case anyone else is a nerd for this kind of gubbins. You're probably not. But let me find you this bee. There's some coots. There's the river, trains, doodah, etc., etc. La-di-da. Where is the bee? This is the bee photo. Okay. Ta-da! Pardon the reflections from like the lights in the room, but this is the bee photo. I'm so happy with the way that this turned out. Get a load of this absolute bee. It bee! I hope you like it. I think she looks lovely. She's a beautiful girl. Anyways, so that I guess was kind of the inspiration for this piece that we're painting today was bee. But yeah, I think it took me about 6 months to finish this roll of film. That being said, I would have finished it if I hadn't lost my camera on the way to the airport when we were going on summer holidays last year. So I ended up having to use a disposable camera for the whole trip. Whoops! I actually ended up using 1.5 disposable cameras, and I haven't finished the contents of the camera yet. So I have more of, I have like half a disposable camera left, and I'm just waiting to go do something interesting to use up the rest of it. So that'll be interesting. A whole bunch of shots of Copenhagen that I don't remember taking, like, whenever I finish getting that developed. It might not be until, like, the end of May, to be honest, because I've got some gubbins happening in London at the end of May, but that is a ways away right now. So those pictures will have been waiting for a wee while. Oh no. But I don't know, I've become more precious, I think, about taking film photos than I used to be, because it's just so expensive to get it developed, and I don't have the disposable income that I did when I was like a student in my 20s and could just do whatever I felt like whenever I wanted. But never mind. So it goes. You get older, you get more expenses, you are not earning more money. But let's not get back into that conversation again. Anyways, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I hope your weekends were good. I did. Okay. Now that looks weird and not super lavendery at the moment, but bear with because we'll be adding flowers to it later on. But I wanted to kind of rough this in for starters. Okay, just to give it a little bit of texture, you know, just to give it a little bit of texture, and hopefully that will have worked okay. What else do I want to do for texture? I could add some other little sort of like shrubby things and stuff closer to the ground. I think maybe in like sort of a grayish greenish color here and there. I think that could work. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of that. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add a little bit of this. I'm gonna put back that bad boy for now, but we'll come back to it. And maybe if I throw in a little bit of, none of these colors have names, which they really should, but I'm very bad at naming my colors. The only one of my Moonglow set that actually has a name is the one that inexplicably turned out red that I wasn't expecting, and I named it Blood Moon because it felt appropriate. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna add some little scrubby shrubbies here and there. in amongst the grasses and see whether or not we like these. We might not like these, I don't know. But again, I'm just kind of sketching and improvising in some little shapes until I decide I think it looks done, and then it will be done. And that's that's what we're doing today. Sometimes it'd be like that. I don't know. I'm having a weird art day. Sometimes you have a weird art day, and that's all right. I'll probably add some more grass around this area, maybe some little flowers or something. I don't know. But I just wanted to incorporate some texture into it, because right now it's still feeling very, very incomplete. So I'm just going to keep, honestly, I think I'm just going to keep adding stuff until it feels like I should stop. And then I will stop. That's my plan. Whoop, sorry, did I hit the mic with my paintbrush just then? Oh my god. Oh my god, can you believe to learn? This is a professional streamer right here. I'm a professional gamer, believe it or not. I don't believe it. Anyways. Right, maybe if I add a little doodad over here. Can I have a little more? Please and thank you. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. And maybe one that's kind of poking out from behind the edge of this lavender bush. Like so. I'd like some more green, please. And maybe, just to make things interesting, I'll add a little bit of blue to it to kind of brighten it up a smidge. A little bit of my funky turquoise. There we go. And then just add, it's kind of hiding behind this bad boy in the front here. Wizard. Okay. Okay. I feel like it's maybe giving a little bit of, I'm not sure what it's giving, but hopefully it's giving some increased texture dimension to the piece, which is the goal here. Periwinkle, do you want to join the party? No, sorry, it's not periwinkle, it's cornflower, but it's a similar kind of softish blue, which is nice. Just pop that in behind here. Anyways, I haven't done something quite this like loose and unplanned in a while, and so to that end, it's feeling kind of good in that way, because I'm just kind of going in and being like, huh, what the hell do I do with this? Why don't I do that? Okay, sure. If I throw a little bit more gray back into it and add some more of these little bad boys in the background. That's a slightly different color here. Cool. I don't know what this is doing to the landscape. I don't know what this landscape is. I am very much just kind of spitballing, and I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know if that, I feel like that's probably fairly obvious, but whatever. You know, we're hopefully having fun. Just a little shadowy shrub over here. Okay, wizard. There is like a blank space here that I'm feeling a little funky about. So, I'm gonna go completely crazy and throw a little lemon onto this and just create a little shape here. Actually quite a large shape. Actually, yeah, I feel like the more I fill this out with other little bushes and stuff, the more it's starting to feel um a little bit more good, I guess. Like we'll still have some patches that aren't, but yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay then. I'm gonna take a break from that and go back to adding some like flowery doots or grassy doots or something like that and see how that feels also. Sure, why not? Sure, why not? Um gonna pick up this guy again. And add in a little bit more. Just this color is becoming a very iterative process. I just keep kind of adding to it as time goes by. Okay. And a little more. Move a little bit further forwards. And maybe a little bit more. A little bit. Hello? A little bit more. Anyways, what's everyone up to this week? Do you have any exciting plans coming up? Are you doing anything cool? Anything fun? I'm not sure what I'm doing at this point, but I am. Oh, what am I doing this week? Well, I'm streaming Moomin Valley on Thursday, so that'll be fun. And I've got oh yeah, so that's the other exciting thing I did on Friday is I hopefully have finished filming my next YouTube video, and I'm very excited about that. Here's a link to my YouTube channel. I should really make it part of a command, but I haven't gotten around to it. It's been how many years? Oops. Anyways, don't worry about that. Here's a link to my YouTube channel. If you are curious or interested in that sort of thing, you can check it out right over there. I am not posting videos nearly as frequently as I would like to, just because, unfortunately, due to the constraints of, capitalism and whatever, I have to have a normal job, which means I don't have bags of time for it. But I am trying to make more of a concerted effort towards doing it this year. I had a really rocky start because I was sick earlier this year, but I'm better now, and very happy that means I can like film and stuff. And I'm working on the researching of my next video already, in addition to the editing of this one now that I've finished filming. Very excited. Also, the Patreon exclusive bonus video for this video is going to be so much fun. I have filmed that as well, and it's going to be a very good time for the little numbers of people who like to do that. They are in for a little bit of a treat. Anyways, I'm liking the way that these little flowery doots are looking. I think this is turning out really, really cute. It's going to be interesting to try and do that like for the bits way at the back, but it'll all work out. It'll all work out. Anyways, I really just wanted to do something really loose and sketchy today. So, this is working for me. I hope it's working for y'all. I don't know. I hope you're trusting the process. But yeah, in case you're curious as to what my next flip's sake, are you kidding me? In case you're curious as to what my next video is about, it is so I do videos on YouTube that largely to do with like baking and history and related things to do with that, like cozy stuff. But doing a little bit of a detour on this one and looking at soap and soap making in the 18th century and making some 18th century style soap, which was a lot of fun to do. I want to make more of them because it was a good time. And yeah, kind of delving into some things to do with the history of like 18th century hygiene, but in a hopefully not boring way, but oh, who knows. It might be, I don't know. But anyways. Yeah. So that's kind of what the video's about. But it's me, so is it hinged? No, it is deeply unhinged. And I let myself go on such a deep dive that I found a painting to illustrate one of the points I was making in the video, found out that the painting was in an art gallery in the city that I live in, and made a field trip to go find that painting so I could take a selfie with it to put in the video, just in case anyone was in doubt as to the lengths that I will go in the name of content. The lengths are pretty great, is my point. But it was just a really fun time to do that. And yeah, I hope people will like it, because I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing this one. I had a lot of fun filming it, doing some DIY stuff that I'd never done before, with basically no idea as to how it would turn out, and it ended up turning out pretty cool, pretty good. But I don't want to give away too much else, because I would like you to watch the video, ultimately. So I shall say no more. But please watch the video if that's the kind of thing you're into. Also, please consider watching my last video, because I think because of reasons it didn't really get pushed out in the algorithm, because it was a little risque, and like I enjoyed the risqueity of it, but I recognize that might have been detrimental to my place in the old algorithm, and it didn't really get seen by very many people, which made me a little bit sad. But I'm very proud of that video. It's a good video, and I think you should go investigate if it's the kind of thing that you're into. Specifically, I talk about a specific type of British steamed pudding, so if that tickles your fancy, then your fancy may be tickled by this. Good lord, anyways. Okay. I'm trying to make my doots smaller as we get further away from the foreground, which is proving very difficult, because I made them quite teeny tiny to begin with, because I hate myself and I like crying and feeling sad. Apparently. Oh no. But it's fine. And also just, I think, making them generally a little less defined as we get further away from the camera is no bad thing. Anyways. Looks awesome, by the way. Love the palette, says Raven. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I am having fun with this. I'm feeling very unstructured, very sketchy with this piece. Which I'm not always. But, it makes for a nice gentle Monday and a nice exercise, especially when, like, my brain did not want to art anything that was conducive to stream this week. My brain was like, you want to paint your blorbos into situations or bust. And I was like, I don't want to do that on stream, because I don't think anyone wants to watch me painting my blorbos into situations again. So I want to give them a little reprieve from blorbostrom. Therefore, we do this. And we lose our gosh dang minds trying to make flowers even tinier than the ones in the foreground. Why did I do this to myself? I don't know anymore. But actually, you know, regardless, I'm having fun with this. I feel like it's kind of nice to just kind of be loose and not really know what you're doing sometimes. And that's precisely what I'm doing here. So, hooray. I am having a nice time with this, and I hope that you're having a nice time as well. Anyways, in other exciting news, I think I'm making falafel for dinner tonight. I think we're having falafel salad, which is a favorite in our household. When I say I'm making falafel, obviously what I mean is I'm taking falafel out of the packet, putting them in the air fryer, and then putting a salad together, making a vinaigrette, and then using the falafel as sort of the main ingredient in the salad. But shh. Also, I had to buy the expensive Sicilian lemon juice because they didn't have just regular lemon juice, and I don't really. If I'm just using like a teaspoon of lemon juice to make a salad dressing, I don't really like to buy like a lemon because I know I'm not going to need the whole thing, and then it's just going to go off in the fridge because I'm not going to need it, you know, sort of very soon, and that kind of thing makes me feel a little bit stressed. So I like to just get the bottles of lemon juice, but they only had Sicilian lemon juice, which is so fancy. I don't think it still wasn't very expensive, but still it made me feel like, oh god, I'm spending too much money. Even though it really wasn't that much, in the grand scheme of things. It felt like it was, and that's the difference sometimes. Anyways. But therefore, looking forward to my salad, which hopefully will be incredibly lovely as a result. Who knows? Anyways, I'm gonna take a super quick BRB again. Now would be a good time for you to have a stretch, have something to drink if you haven't recently, do all that jazz. And I'll come back and add some more details and shading and maybe even color in the bee. Who knows? I think we could use a little bit of additional sort of shading and what have you in this piece, and then maybe it will start to look good. I genuinely don't know. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. But I'll be back very shortly. So have a nice BRB. You ain't gonna miss anything. Enjoy the BRB song in the meantime, and I shall BRB. And we are back. Hello. Thank you for sticking with it. Oh man, was the BRB song muted this whole time? Gosh damn it. Sorry about that, everybody. Pretzels. You were supposed to be hearing the BRB music, which sounds that. Anyways. This is our little bee scene for anyone who's just come in. Thank you for sticking around through the ads and stuff. I know they're annoying. You know they're annoying. We all know we can't do jack about them because Twitch says we have to have them regardless. And fine, I suppose. Okay, so I want to just kind of can I get some these blobs? Some of these blobs are feeling a little bit one note to me, so I'd like to kind of add a bit of dimension to them in some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to try to do that, get my messy palette going over here, and just pull some gray into you, and then maybe just add some additional sort of blops of color. Just some little ploppies. I don't know. I'm just pulling out colors until I feel like I'm doing something. Just to make it feel a little bit less one note. Get a little bit more dimension into our couleurs. I guess I could do that with the lavender bushes as well. Maybe I should do that first. Because they're kind of some of the most important parts of the piece, really, apart from the bee, which is the most important part of the piece. Part of the reason that I really haven't used any yellow in the rest of this piece is that I want the bee to really stand out when we paint it in. That is important to me. I am going to run out of this lavender paint before I run out of any of the other paints that I own on this palette, which is really sad because I love this color. It is a good color. But let's just... Let's try and get some dimension into these lavender bushes. Maybe a little bit of shading under the bee even could be cute. I don't know. I'm very much just goofing around and potentially making it a gazillion times worse. I don't know. This piece might not end up being anything. Sometimes it'd be like that, and that's fine. I just wanted to see if I could make it a little bit more really. But just as we get further away, I suppose it probably wants to be a little bit more subtle. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm honestly just I'm just improvising. It's fine. But just make them feel a little bit more like less like sort of static single note blocks, that kind of thing. Like there's dimension happening inside them, etc., etc. Okay. All right, that I feel like didn't really do much. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, it kind of just faded down to more or less the same color. But that's okay. I know that I did something, and that helps my brain. Think what else shall I do? What shall I do? To sort of add to it some more. Well, why don't I go back to this and add some sort of texture and variations into some of these little shrubbies as well. So they're a little bit less one note. And kind of maybe add a little bit more dimension and interest to them, but keep it subtle, because some of these are, getting a little further away. But not so subtle that we can't see it at all. It's a balance. Anyways. Yeah, excitingly having falafels for dinner tonight, which I'm looking forward to. And then tomorrow night I think I'm having gluten-free fish fingies with mashed potatoes and some peas. Or as I like to call it, children's menu. Sometimes we just have children's menu for dinner. And why not? It's uncomplicated and we enjoy it, right? Okay, I want to maybe get some little other flowers in and around, but I don't want to deviate too far from the color scheme that we've got going, so I think I might just drop in a little bit of the pink that I was using before for the trees in the background. A little bit of this orchid pink, which is, I think, my second most used color in this palette. I think what's my least used color in this palette? It's probably, for unknown reasons to me, it's the color they call coral pink, even though it's, like, bright orange. Like, I would call it maybe, like, I don't know, it's bright orange. It's not... Chat, is that pink? In what universe is that pink? No. That's pink, that's orange. What the flip? I don't know. It's maybe like a warm apricot or something. But it is not pink. It's orange. Sometimes I do wonder about the people who name these colors. I'm like, is it the me that's incorrect here, or are you confused? I honestly don't know. So I've just decided to go ahead and add some little flowers into some of these little shrubbies, actually, which is not what I was originally planning to do, but I kind of dig it. Just getting another little element of cuteness into here. Ooh, or they could be berries. They could be some kind of wild berry. I don't know. I don't know. It could be some kind of berry, actually. What if? What if it was some kind of berry? Okay. And as we get a little further away, they get a little bit smaller. Probably a little too much smaller. Uh-oh. But never mind. Because then they'll be, oh, ever so tiny when we get to the very back, but never mind. Okay. And I'm just sort of simmering them down in terms of their intensity as we get further away as well. Just because I think that would be also helpful. By adding in a little bit of my gray, which is such a nice, honestly, such a nice gray. I love this stupid little swatch that I did for it. Definitely an excellent use of one of my little A7 sheets. Okay. Alright. It's getting so subtle you won't even be able to see it, but you know what? That's okay. Sometimes, I've talked about this before on stream, sometimes I like to do things that I know are not really going to be visible in the end piece, but I also feel like there is a benefit to just them being there as kind of a... They're adding something even though you can't see them specifically, kind of thing. Sometimes I think that's useful to have. Love the colors, says Joe. Oh, thank you so much. I'm really enjoying this color scheme. I think it's nice. I think it's pleasant. It gives me some joy. Love that for me. I genuinely don't know if I'm going to end up doing anything with this piece when we're done with it. I honestly haven't the foggiest. But that's fine. Okay, I think... do I want to add anything else? Yes. Yes, I do. I'm going to pop some just little flowers out and around here as well. And I'm just making little flowery doots for these because I don't know, I like things that I don't want to overcomplicate it, you know. But just little patches of little blue flowery doots. Why not? Rhino says this feels like something you would see in a children's fairy tale book. Oh, that is very kind. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you much. I would love to do some children's book illustration or something like. I think that would be really fun. It's not something I've really pursued. I don't know, I feel like the world of doing that kind of thing professionally is probably real cutthroat and scary, and I am such a delicate, soft little fairy cake of a human being that I feel like it would probably just murder me outright. Also, I did see someone was saying on their YouTube channel about this was why they got rid of Instagram, but they not doing children's book illustration, but they were doing they do like fabric pattern design for children's clothes, and they reached out to a company who was looking for designers for their like textile patterns, and that company got back to them and was like, oh, well, you've only got 5,000 followers on Instagram, so we're looking for somebody who has a little bit more of a reach. And it was like, what, like, why does that matter? If like if the designs are good, why did the like follower numbies on Instagram matter to you? That's so stupid. Like why would you care about that? Like why, like why would you care about that? Why, like why? I don't understand. Um it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But that was their thing, and my follower numbers on Instagram are actually going down instead of going up. I haven't posted on Instagram in a couple of weeks, and to be honest, I kind of have beef with Instagram about this, that, and the other. So um, like I don't particularly care about that. And I suspect slash hope a lot of the followers that I'm losing on Instagram are either people deleting their Instagrams because they're not a fan of Instagram's currently very crappy policies, or they're bots whose accounts are being nuked, who shouldn't have counted in the first place. But yeah. So like none of that works for me. So no thank you. But yes. Okay. So okay. So now I need to attempt to make I have no space left on my palette. Okay, I've got a little corner over here. I'm going to use my slightly bigger brush to create bee color, for which I'm going to begin with a cleaner brush, because that brush clearly still had some schmutz in it. I'm going to start with lemon, but I feel like lemon is it's too cool of a yellow. So I'm going to add a little bit of peach to it to make it into a slightly more warm, slightly more golden yellow. So we're going to combine our lemon and peach together to make a nice sort of like peach iced tea lemonade situation. Very delicious. Hopefully very pretty. But we shall see. Is this going to be a naturalistically correct bee? No. And we're gonna not mind that because it's obviously a stylized bee. Look, I gave it an uwu face. It has an uwu face, okay? That's the kind of bee we're dealing with here. So, don't sweat it. And I'm going to take this tiny little scrap of tissue that I have found, and I'm just going to give my brush a little clean down and then a little dry down, because I want a nice, hefty, vibrant concentration of bee color on here. Oh, little boy. This little buddy is gonna be hopefully cute. I guess we'll soon find out. Oh, there was a tiny bead of water on the ferrule. Oh no, oh no. No, 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 no. Do not want. Okay. Alright, there we go. I love them. They're so stupid. I do love a cute little bumblebee bee situation, though. I really do. I think they're just absolutely delightful. The wings, I suppose, should be a little translucent. So what if I just put just a slightly lighter wash of our lavender color under the wings to give that air of translucency for starters. There we go. I don't know if I want to texture the wings at all, or if that's gonna just add kind of too many layers of complication to this. I might do just like a tiny amount of wing texture, but I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I get to that stage of it. And I would like this. Okay, now I would like this yellow to just dry off a little bit. So I'm just gonna shake our canvas up and down. Oh, actually, a better idea. I'm just gonna do this. Just gonna do that, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea, which is this sort of gingery herbal tea. Which, despite the fact that there's nominally licorice in it, it doesn't really taste like there's licorice in it. It just kind of tastes like a lemon ginger sort of, maybe some, you know what this, oh, nope. This tea has gone cold now, and I definitely got licorice on the back end of it. I don't know if anyone in chat is a licorice enjoyer, in which case you might like this tea. It's called A Star is Born. It might have been limited edition, so I don't know whether or not you can still get it. Sorry if you can't. But, woof. Yeah, not feeling the licorice on the end of it, so I might take a sip of my secondary tea, which is just straight ahead mint, which I much prefer to licorice in my tea, which I know they add it to teas to like give them a little sweetness, but I'm like, if I want my tea to be sweet, I'll just add honey or sugar to it. You don't have to do that for me. You can't see the face that I'm making, but it's like, nope, not feeling it. Hold on. I don't have a my face webcam set up. So here, let me take a selfie. Okay. Here's what my face looked like just now. But yeah. Oh, the other exciting thing that happened to me. So here's my face. Anyways, the other exciting thing that happened to me this weekend was I developed a mighty need specifically for a vintage Jersey cow creamer, which if you haven't seen them are the cutest things to ever exist, and I need to find you a photo because they are so stinking cute. Hold up, wait a minute. Let me just while this is drying down, let me find you the best thing that I've ever done with. Can I afford this? No. Was it worth it? Yes, it was like 9 quid on eBay, and they're just so cute. They are so cute, and I love them so much. And it looked pretty much exactly like this guy, I guess, but it cost me like 9 quid. And she's on her way, and I love it. Y'all. Is this not the cutest thing you ever did see? It's supposed to be like a little milk jug, but I'll be honest, I feel like all of like the nooks and crannies and cow shapes of the inside of that jug are gonna make it a massive pain in the backside to keep clean as a milk jug. So I'm just going to have it as something I like to look at that brings me joy, because she's so heckin' cute. This is a time-honored tradition of novelty kitchenwares, by the way. I think the first cow-shaped creamers date back to like the 1700s or something like that in the Netherlands. So there's a long history of making cow-shaped milk jugs. But I just love them so much. I think they're so cute. And I'm very excited to get to own one, really. Okay. So I'm just using my neutral tint for my black stripes because I've already got it. And just very carefully striping in those happy little bee stripes. A nice little rotund curve for our nice little rotund bee. What a lovely thing to be. Rotund, that is. And a little pointy end, because they've got their little bee stinger. Okay. There. Now it's whimsical. I have an appreciation for things whimsical. I don't know if this is obvious to anyone watching, but I very much have an appreciation for things whimsical. I'm just gonna drop some texture onto the wings, but let's keep it nice and subtle. So actually, I've just decided I don't like the texture, so I'm going to blend it out a little bit if I can and make it extra subtle by just making them all a little bit grayer. Okay. Yeah, that'll do. Sometimes one of the things I do appreciate about watercolor sometimes is that if you decide you don't like something, you can fix it if you just sort of get in there, get it wet, and then do a little blut. And then it's like, oh, you know, like what texture? I didn't add texture. You added texture. Shut up. Anywho, can I get just a nice quite thick amount of paint. We're talking like butter texture watercolors here. And that is for my little legs. There we go. Yay, they've got legs! Hell yeah! And some little antennaes as well. Hopefully cute. And some little... I'm flapping my little wings motion lines. Very important. And the most important part of the painting is the little bee face. And just praying to the paint gods that I don't fluff it up at this point, because this is really the point of no return. If I goof on the painting of this face, the painting is bad. And it's all over, so I'm gonna be real quiet. You know what? It's not perfect, but it's a pretty cute little uwu. I'm happy with that. I hope you are happy too. I don't normally outline things just like fully in like dark, but I feel like if I try and do sort of like yellow on the yellow bits and then black on the black bits, it's gonna look a little weird at this scale. So I'm wondering if I should just kind of outline the whole thing in black, or rather neutral tint dark gray. I don't know. What I am gonna do is give the stripes a little definition. What if I just kind of make a more orangey yellow and use that for my lines? Or will that still be just way too light compared to the black? I think it might be. I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna try, and if I decide that I don't like it, I can just go over it with the other color and you'll never know. Yeah, I feel like that's way too subtle in comparison. It's gonna look weird. So I'm actually just gonna black line this whole thing, or dark gray line this whole thing. And just have that be a stylistic choice that is a little different to my norm, which is fine and allowed and all good. So, I think it will really cement the place of the bee as like the focal point of this design anyways. If it's all sort of lined out. There we go. Yeah, honestly, I think that's fine for this. This little bee is fully no thoughts, head empty, just a little bombus, just bombusing around the lavender fields. And I'm like, honestly, I love that for them. This is a fully head empty bombus. Yeah, I guess that's this piece, because I don't know what else I want to do with it, so I'm gonna kind of call it there, I think. I'm gonna pop a signature on it, and then we will call this a stream. This has been a weird stream. This has been a very quiet stream, I think, in many ways, and I think my brain has been kind of in a funky space, but thank you so much to everyone who's actually, like, hung out today. I really appreciate it. It's not normally this quiet, but it's been nice hanging with you. I am going to off stream be working on some designs that we've done for the next shop update, which will be somewhat imminent. So there's that to look forward to. Here's what my palette looks like when we're done today. It got real messy, and that's all right. But yeah, had a nice time hanging with you. Thank you for hanging with me if you are here, or if you were here. Thank you again to Margot for the raid. That was very kind. Lovely to see you, and hope you had a lovely stream and have a good rest of your day. All that jazz. I'm gonna find someone for us to raid now, because I feel like now would be a good time to do that. And I want to go do some dinner. It's about that time for me. So, let me see if I can find a raid. Diddly dee. Who is someone we have not raided in a wee while who is on? Ooh, let's say hi to Brenda. Brenda is even more chaotic than I am, but a very nice time to hang out with and very fun and just a good time. So let's go say hi to Brenda. If I can get the raid to work. Anyways, I'll be back on Thursday, but on Thursday it's gonna be game fee on Thursday. So you've got that to look forward to. I'm gonna be playing the Moomin game DLC, which I'm very excited about. Because I've been looking forward to it for a wee while, I will say. And I think it'll be a good time. Is Brenda? Brenda's only been on for 20 minutes, so she's definitely not just about to finish. If you like fun and cool stuff and excellent person, Brenda's great. So let's go do that stream. Let's get a generic raid mess a generic raid mess in the chat. Let's get a generic raid message in the chat. Let's just be popping in. Here's some ananas. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the raid message with the emotes. If you do not have the emotes, you can just say generic raid message or append any such thingy. Cool emotes that you do have. That's what I was trying to say. Regardless, I'll be back on Thursday doing something other than art, but hopefully having a good time anyways. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you for an interesting time, and I hope you have a good rest of your week. I'll be back on Thursday. Here's the thanks for watching screen. Good night, and good luck.